Hey, what is going on everybody? It is Nolan, or the Optimistic Gamer here, and welcome back to the Optimistic Survival series. Originally, today we were going to travel up our mountain and start work on our first North Pole build, all of the materials for which are gathered in this shulker box, but instead, change of plans. Apparently I have been living under a rock because I did not realize that the Pale Garden update was coming to Minecraft this soon. 1.20.4, at the time that you are likely watching this, was released yesterday, today for me. So that is what we are doing instead of traveling to the top of our mountain, although we do need to travel quite a ways away. I did trim down our chunks for the world. It's been since the 1.21 update since I did that, but we are still going to fly a ways away from here just to increase our likelihood of finding that Pale Garden. So up to the roof of the Nether we go. We are traveling out probably all the way towards where our quarry is, although we might want to go in a different direction simply because we have already loaded a lot of those chunks. But at the same time, we have a hub over in that direction all set up for ourselves, so I think we will travel back that way. Now, while we briefly travel on the roof of the Nether, and by the time I'm done saying that, we're gonna practically be there, but we can go ahead and talk about what I am hoping to accomplish today. So obviously, we want to find the Pale Garden. We want to get some pale wood. If we have time today, we will set up that 12th plot. Uh-oh. Okay, that was not supposed to happen. Oh wait, never mind, I take that back. Although, we just unlocked a new recipe. Oh, because we went in the water, that would explain why. Our portal that we linked to our quarry is right over here. So of course we want to get some of that pale wood, which will be excellent for building, especially in our North Pole village. But also, it would be nice to have a farm set up, so we need to get some saplings for that as well. But if we also have time, I think it would be great to check out the creaking. So if we could manage to do that as well, I think it would be fun to explore the mechanics of that. Again, I have not even logged into any of the snapshots or anything like that. I've never been to the Pale Garden except for about 10 minutes ago in a test world just to place down some of that pale wood, the wood that I'm sure we are all very, very excited about. But other than that, I really don't know a whole lot about this biome as a whole. I did do some reading up on it on the Minecraft wiki ahead of the recording today, so that should hopefully help. Nonetheless, it is going to be an adventure for us. The other thing I'm wondering is if our advancement for adventuring time has gone away, which it has. So once we find the new Pale Forest, we will earn that back. But for now, that is an outstanding achievement. Outstanding in the sense that we have yet to complete it once again, but also in the sense that completing it is fairly outstanding. Well, in all this excitement, I forgot our ender chest, so we have two options here. We can either run home, or we can find a way to craft one. I think both of those are equally difficult. I mean, I guess going home isn't all that difficult, but what we might actually end up doing is on our way home, we may end up just flying into a Pale Garden. So I think we are just gonna go for that, and if we don't find one between here and there, we can head up to the Nether and travel in a different direction on our ice highway. Unless we have an ender chest at our quarry, which I think we might actually have one, and if that's the case, that will be even better for us, but I think we will still travel back in the other direction regardless, just so that we can maybe find a Pale Garden on our way back. So our quarry is somewhere around here. I don't know that we've seen these mountains though yet. These are pretty impressive. Of course, this whole mountain range is also very impressive, but those ones especially. So somewhere around here, we should have... No way. This is the coolest thing I have ever seen. That is... Oh, you know what this is? Wait a minute. I'm both confused and in awe. I think what happened here is some of these chunks got erased and reloaded when I went through the world. Some of them are still here. Did they add different elevations of lakes? Because if they did, that would be really cool. But that may just also have been from the lush cave. Nonetheless, that is really cool. I mean, we are all the way up at 254 right here. That's probably at about 200 right down there, and that is a full-blown lake. My guess is it's from the lush cave, but it definitely looks like it had something to do with the chunks that got erased. But that is still amazing nonetheless. This whole area, maybe we will have to rethink leveling all of these mountains, because this is really cool. So here we are at our quarry, perfect timing. We do have an ender chest, thank goodness, so that will save us a lot of time, and of course that is why we keep one in there. We can leave that ender chest here and continue on our way. I think I'm just gonna cut all of the fluff out between now and when we find the Pale Garden, unless I come across something else really cool like what we saw up there. I think it would be better for us to spend the majority of the episode in the Pale Garden itself. So I will see all of you hopefully real soon. Well, that looks an awful lot like a Pale Garden. That looks very, very pale indeed. I turned our render distance up all the way to 32 for that exact reason, so that we could see in very long distances. But now that we can confirm that we have found a Pale Garden, we will turn that back down to a reasonable 12 and head over there in just a moment. It looks like we have a little bit more of it right here. So if you are playing on this seed and you are not settled at these coordinates and have trimmed your chunks, this is at -120, so roughly on 0 on the X, and about 4,600 on the Z. Of course, when we step into this biome, we will once again reclaim our adventuring time advancement. So why don't we go ahead and do that now and listen to the fun chime that will play. Yes, there we go. Challenge complete once again. So we are now 2-time Adventure Time champions. How awesome is that? This, of course, is the smaller of the two Pale Gardens. I think this is where we will source our wood from, as well as some leaves and saplings. We are just going to go all in on harvesting these trees. I would even like to get some of those vines, but we may need shears. No, it looks like our hoe will do that. I'm assuming it has to be Silk Touch. Will the axe do it? Yes, it will. So just any Silk Touch device will work for that. So we are going to get just a little bit of wood. Of course, we will primarily harvest that back at our home once we get our tree farm set up. And of course, we will get all of these resources as well. The biggest thing to make sure that we acquire is a sapling, or I guess 4 saplings. I'm not sure what the drop rate is though, so we are going to grab out this Fortune 3 diamond hoe, and we are going to load up on probably close to a half stack just to be safe. It is a ways out here. It would be a bummer if we had to come back just for some saplings. And as you could imagine, I am especially excited about the leaves because they have a sort of frosted look to them, perfect for, I guess not really greenery, but landscaping in our North Pole scene. So I'm very, very excited to have leaves like this. And I think the sun should be getting close to setting. We can see it right over there. So I think we are going to get over to the Pale Garden while we still have some daylight. We got 27 saplings in all, and I think we are just going to play this a little bit safe and set a spawn point, get our totem placed down. Again, I'm not sure the full capabilities of the creaking, and I don't think this is a time that we want to find out. So let's fly over here. Let's make sure that we are in a somewhat accessible... Ooh, did you see how the sky changed? That is pretty cool. So over the dark oak right here, and then if we fly back over the pale garden, actually we can just stand right here and step back and forth. Pale garden, when we step out, well, I guess maybe not. Maybe we have to go in a little bit farther. But why don't we go ahead and set a spawn point maybe on top? Where do we want to do this? We are also going to have other hostile mobs that we will have to deal with. So it might not be a bad idea to set this maybe on a tree. Would that be a good idea? As long as we don't corner ourselves. That is the other thing I'm worried about. This is a very rugged environment. The forest is very dense, so we want to be careful with this. Of course, I think with the creaking, silence is the name of the game, similar to the Warden. Now this I did find out on the Minecraft wiki. The creaking will sort of originate from the creaking heart, which will be found among the trees. So that is what spawns the creaking. That is a creaking. Okay. So you can see when we are looking at the creaking, it cannot move. It cannot do anything to us, but it can also not take damage. However, you will see those particles. That really did startle me though, I'm not gonna lie. You can see those particles, and that's what we don't want. Other mobs. That is when we have issues, because we can't really do anything about that skeleton. However, we can use the creaking to shield ourselves. I need to talk fast. The particles indicate the direction of the creaking heart. That is how we will find the creaking heart, destroy it, and kill this creaking. Now, it doesn't do all that much damage to us, I don't think. If we just look away from it here. Is it anywhere? Okay, so it's not like an Enderman where it is our crosshair. It's any time that our creaking is anywhere on the screen, that is when it cannot move. But as soon as we turn around, yes, there it is. That is definitely creepy, but also a very fun new mechanic. But as I was saying, those particles point in the direction of the creaking heart. That is what we will go attack to kill this creaking. And that skeleton is driving me crazy. Luckily, knowing that we can just keep the creaking on our screen will make it a little bit easier to try and get over there. Now, eventually we will want to look away because we will want the creaking a little bit closer so we can find that creaking heart. And it looks like, yes, as long as it is not in our view, which makes me curious about the third-person view. It is moving closer towards us, it looks like. Again, these other mobs are what we really have to worry about here. And there's the creaking heart. You can see it right up there. That orange... It's sort of in the wood, I guess. And that is what we are after. Now, we can use our netherite axe and silk touch that. We just need to strategically get up here. Now we can silk touch this and respawn the creaking later on. What is the best way to do this? I think we want to get on top of the tree, or at least up to eye level with the creaking heart. So that is wood up there, and I don't want to get knocked off of the tree either. So we are going to eat real quick just to keep a close eye on our health. I think most of the damage that we took were from other mobs. So it looks like right here, what are we looking at? We are looking at this is a resin clump, and that is the creaking heart. We can see right there, active, true, natural, true. So we will break all of this. The resin we can make other blocks with, but when we destroy that creaking heart, the creaking will perish. So let's grab all of that stuff. I think one creaking adventure is plenty for now. We will definitely be back here in the future, and we can actually spawn in our own creaking. Now that we have the creaking heart, you can see it is no longer orange, so we don't actually have an active creaking heart, but there are ways to activate that using our pale wood. So now we just have to find, I guess we never placed down our bed, did we? Those look like new flowers though. I do want to go over here and grab these. We are just taking advantage of all the new that the 1.21.4 update has to offer. Now the other thing I'm curious about is how many of those creaking hearts there are in this biome, and whether they spawn naturally and then the creakings are able to originate from them, or if the creaking spawns and at the same time spawns the creaking heart. Because if that is the case, that means that you could go in during the day and deactivate some of the hearts if the creaking doesn't originate, or if it spawns those, I should say. But I'm not seeing any in the area, so that likely indicates that, well, I think we just got lucky actually. I think that's what that indicates. Now we could go wandering through that a little bit more. Also, one other thing that we need to, and there's a creaking. Now I don't think it's noticed us yet because it is still moving. That is interesting. It definitely is over there. Of course, the sounds, I believe, are what get its attention. If we were to... Okay, it has noticed us now. So I'm just curious to see where this creaking heart is, and it looks like it is right up there, so nice and close for us. Of course, the only thing that I'm concerned about is other mobs. I'm wondering what will happen if we fly away. Will it continue to follow us? That is my biggest question now. And it doesn't look like it does. So once we are out of the forest, we are out. Now, of course, if you don't have elytra and firework rockets, it might be difficult to escape that. But that is the Pale Garden. So with all of that exploration down and all of these new resources in our inventory, I will see all of you back at the valley and we will summarize all of these adventures. Alright, we have returned to the valley. A rain shower has just begun, but that's okay. We will continue on anyway, taking a closer look at all of these new resources that we have gathered. So what do we have here? Well, we have quite a bit actually. Of course, the pale logs are kind of the star of the show. With these, we get pale oak planks, and how incredible do those look? We can definitely find lots of uses for this wood, especially up top at our North Pole village. We may even do some renovating throughout the valley, but definitely lots of new builds coming up with that. The creaking heart right here, I'm placing this a little ways away from the pale wood because that is how we activate the creaking heart. Once that is, I think it's sandwiched between, so I guess if we did place it there we would be okay, but I think if you sandwich it between two pieces of pale oak logs or wood, that will activate it. We also got one pale oak leaf, but we will get plenty more once we set up our farm. Again, that doesn't really have a green look at all. It has a very frosted look to it. Great for trees, again, up at our North Pole. The sapling right here, of course, I think it will take 4 of these to grow a tree, but that by itself is a pretty cool decoration, especially in flower pots and things like that, as well as the open eye blossom, which has this very vibrant orange that really stands out against the white and gray of the rest of the plant. And then finally some pale hanging moss, which we will have to hang from right over there. It definitely looks a lot like, I'd say the best combination would be rooted dirt, the roots from that, and so I guess just hanging roots, and glow lichen. I think it kind of is a hybrid of that, which of course has to be silk touched. But that is the extent of what we came away with. Actually, as we were leaving, I can't believe I forgot to do this, but they also added pale moss and pale moss carpet, which was the floor of that. That was not a textured grass, that was its own block, the pale moss. Also, one quick complaint I want to make about this, it's sort of petty, but they have removed the ability to sprint boost yourself with elytra, which is unbelievably annoying. You can see as I try to sprint on the ground and then jump up and use my elytra, the field of view changes and I go back to that normal pace, which means you can't really sprint boost. That's annoying. It was a really nice way of navigating. But enough complaining, because it is now time to talk about resin, the last new item, to my knowledge, that has been added. I think it is the last one, though, that we have not yet covered. Now, in here, I've already put through our resin, and I've made some resin bricks, primarily because I forgot to hit record on this most recent segment. But right here, we have resin bricks. We can craft those into the resin brick blocks right here, which have a very, very vibrant orange and a new texture to them, sort of like a modded brick. That's kind of how I see it. We haven't really had any bricks that look like that. We have all of the big ones, and of course we have normal red bricks somewhere around here, but those have a very flat texture. These have a much more 3D look to them, which I really like. We will definitely find a use for those. But how do we get all of that resin? How do we make so many of those bricks? Well, the simple answer is from the creaking. You will notice that every time we hit the creaking, it sent those particles, but what it was also doing was spreading resin to the pale oak blocks around it. So, what are we going to do? Well, we are actually going to spawn in the creaking. I know that sounds crazy, but yes, we are going to do that right now. But I actually want to try something else. I want to try... Well, first of all, let's just see how this works, because we can quickly kill the creaking and respawn it if we need to. But I have an idea for a way to harvest, to farm this resin. So there's our creaking. We are going to get it a little bit closer here. And I don't think it can get over the tracks. It cannot, so we are going to give it a path to do so. And now it should chase after us. There we go. We want it nice and close to the creaking heart so that if we need to kill it, we can. But you will see, I kept you on my screen, thank you very much. But you will see every time we attack it, the creaking heart generates resin, and we probably shouldn't do that with our efficiency X, but we are getting resin each time, and we are already up to 7, which I know is not very much. It is 1-to-1 with bricks, and it looks like it is not reaching these corners, just the blocks directly adjacent. But that's okay. My idea for the farm, and it does have a 5-second cooldown, but my idea for the farm is to put these blocks on pistons and have those pistons on a clock so that every time we attack the creaking, it will send a redstone, or not necessarily send a redstone pulse, we will have them on a clock, but these blocks will be actively moving, and of course each time they do, it will end up, it will end up dropping the resin. But for now, I think we are just going to kill the creaking by destroying that creaking heart. We came away with 25 resin right there, and that is where we are going to end the episode for today. I really hope you enjoyed it. It was definitely fun. There's a baby zombie. Oh, 2 of them. Alright. Do we have a zombie siege? I hope not. I don't really want to deal with that right now. I think we are okay. I think it was just the... Uh-oh, the door's open. Alright, all of the villagers are alive and well. But as I was saying, it's always very fun to explore new features of Minecraft, especially new biomes and, of course, new building blocks. Always a favorite of mine. If you enjoyed this look at the 1.21.4 update, definitely hit that thumbs up button and stay tuned for next episode, the reveal of our museum, if you can believe it. Episode 100 will be coming out in just a few days, probably this weekend, so mark your calendars and stay tuned for that. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on notifications as soon as I publish that video or any other video. Check the description for some more important information, links, how to contact me, all of that good stuff. And with all of that being said, comment, like, subscribe, remember to stay optimistic, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye!